Hello Rider fans, I just got yet further reason of being ashamed of my country. So while I get my therapeutic weekly dose of Gaim, if any of you want to suggest somewhere for me to move to, go ahead. Now let's start with the recap. Among the many theories about the true nature of Helheim that surfaced at the beginning, there was the time travel one. Helheim is a future version of Earth. This was mainly because of Mai and the princess looking completely alike. And I bet that it was further reinforced, at least for a little while, when the overlords appeared. After all, they have the clear purpose of being the best equivalents of three human characters. The Red Knight is obsessed with strength and thinks the weak should just die. It's clearly Kaito. The Green Bishop is much more subtle, brain-oriented and prefers to trick and toy with his opponents. He's obviously Michan. For the White King, I still don't have enough information to properly place him, but he's either an Invest Kota or an Invest Takatora. I'd go more with the latter option, if only because I want Kota to be unique. The parallels have been subtly drawn for a while now, and I wonder what they're leading up to. Let's see if episode 31 has that answer for us! After last week's break with Kikaider's crossover episode, we get back to the crisis at hand, in a few minutes. First, there is time for a little more exposition between Takatora and the White King. The Invest confirms that whoever plucks the fruit of knowledge will be able to control the forest of Helheim. Then, Sagara appears and explains that the White King is currently holding onto the fruit of knowledge intended for humanity. And now, hold on to your pants! The Nymph doesn't want humanity to get their fruit because he believes they will just go down the same path his race did. Instead, he will use it to resurrect his girlfriend slash wife slash whatever, which is also the one that gave him the first fruit of knowledge. And now we return to the crisis at hand. The Red Knight has used a crack to go to Zawame City. Kota and Kaito, who shows an uncharacteristic worry for the city, give chase, but not Sid and Michan, who get visited by the Green Bishop. We follow the KKK, because Kota, Kaito, Knight, get it? The Overlord roughs Kaito and Kota up some more before declaring that he intends to destroy Zawame, and then proceeds to do just that. Back in the forest, the Green Bishop attacks Sid and Michan, and unlike the Red Knight, he seems surprisingly weak, to the point that he actually surrenders and declares that he will bring them to the Forbidden Fruit? Okay, this screams trap from a mile away. Sid falls for it hook, line and sinker, while Michan is of course suspicious. And back in Zawame, the Red Knight is wreaking havoc and something appears that I doubted even existed because of it. The fucking Zawame City Police Force! Where the hell were you for the past 30 episodes, and why aren't you as useful as the cops on Kuga? Kota and Kaito have fortunately recovered, and our hero even takes a fireball for a family of innocent bystanders. The Overlord confesses that he's hell-bent on destroying everything because he's jealous that such weak things as humans possess a thriving civilization while they don't. This makes Kaito certain and Kota more prone to believe that talking to the Invest is pointless. Back in the forest, Sagara is trying to persuade the White King that humanity deserves a chance, unlike the Nymph who blew their own one. Also, he appeals to his sense of fairness, let them have a chance at the prize that was theirs to begin with. This seems to convince at least partially the White King. He reveals the forbidden fruit, and from it he creates a golden lock seed, which is also a key of some sort. He hands it to Sagara, telling him to test the power of the fruit for himself. Sagara then disappears and we cut back to Zawame, where it seems nothing can be done to stop the Overlord, until Ryoma activates something called Master Intelligence System. It allows him to control all the communications in Gotham City and track the Joker without Wait a minute! Urobuchi, you whore! Copyrighted Unshaved Mouse. Anyway, a platoon of mounted Yggdrasil infantry converges on the position of the KKK, where the two riders are getting the living shit beat out of them, and the defeat is made even worse by the fact that it's not really hate that drives the Overlord, so he bullshitted them before, but just the sport of it. The Red Knight only lives, as the White King said, to prove and impose his power over others, to crush the weak and cull their lives. And this finally breaks Kota's resolve. There is no talking to this power-hungry idiot, it's Triumphant Arms time! Remember, this is the first time Kota ever used them against an Overlord, and with good reason. He's never wanted to really defeat and kill them, but now the gloves are off, and within the fight he even manages to slip in a scolding. If it weren't for power-hungry people like the Red Knight, the Leaning civilization may have very well survived and defeated the forest, and Kota is really the only person in this series on which "you're the same as us" doesn't stick. After Kota declares that he fights to protect the ones who can't protect themselves, and before he can deliver what I believe is a finishing blow, the fight gets interrupted by Minato and the Yggdrasil posse, who then all gang up on Kota. You filthy bastards! Even with the Triumphant Arms, Kota can't sustain an onslaught from both Yggdrasil and an Overlord at the same time. Only Kaito's intervention saves his life, leaving the two other sides to fight each other. Back in Helheim, we see that the Green Bishop has led Sid and Michan to where the White King resides. Darth's Weather lets Sid go on alone to face him and get the Forbidden Fruit, but not out of the goodness of his heart. Michan realized right away that it was a trap. What the Green Bishop really wants is for someone else to take the Forbidden Fruit from the White King and then steal it for himself. And I feel like this is the beginning of a terrible friendship. Back in Zawami City, Kaito brings the injured Kota back to Gaim HQ. Before he can leave though, Kota stops him. Kota asks, and Kaito confirms that he shares the Red Knight's mindset about strength, and he adds that they need power to defeat any foe that comes before them. This shocks Kota into unconsciousness. After telling the Kamen Rider to get stronger than what he currently is, Kaito leaves. Zack follows, guessing what his old leader is up to now. In the last scene, we return to the forest where Sid finds and confronts the White King. But there's a reason why this particular Leaning forgot this race's forbidden fruit. He's the strongest, remember? And if the Red Knight and the Green Bishop were powerful, the White King is overwhelming! The Cherry Rider is completely helpless against this enemy, and his arrogance keeps him from retreating even after the White King gives him an occasion to do so with his life. And as such, it is time for him to atone for his sins, with a very painful death. And back in Zawame, the body count is also rapidly rising, since Ryoma just keeps sending subordinates after subordinates against the Red Knight, instead of, joining the fight. And in the last scene, Kaito and Zack arrive to the location, transform and join the fight. The battle is still on! Well, the Forbidden Fruit really is the power of a god then. If the Loxy that will no doubt give Kota his final transformation is only a fraction of its power, I fear what that thing will do at full power. Which begs the question, if the White King already possesses the Forbidden Fruit, why doesn't he use it? I guess that it's because it can only be used after certain conditions are met. I can't help but wonder what those conditions are. On another subject, it seems like Kaito is slowly coming around. Seeing himself as he will be if he doesn't stop walking down the same path was a shock, I guess, but I still believe that in the end he will fight Kota for the Forbidden Fruit. And of course, as we all knew it would happen, and as I've been saying since time immemorial, the first of the Energy Riders to go is Sid. And then what a violent death, squashed between two giant slabs of rock! He went like he should have though, so focused on his objective and that only, uncaring of anything else and desperately wanting to stand above everything else for once. If you remember, Sid has been put down by pretty much anyone in the series. So much that in the end, he disregarded his own life for the sake of power, and that was his end. Not that he would have had any chances against the White King, but I mean, this guy's a beast! I have no doubt that, even with the new transformation he'll get, Kota will still need the help of all his allies and maybe a couple of his enemies to take him down. It's not going to be the last fight of the series, but it sure as hell is going to be the most epic in my opinion. With that said, time's up for today's episode, Rider fans. Tell me what you think of it in the comments and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Già ne!